Everybody, welcome back to another daily drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and we are rolling through Carolina football fall camp. We actually ran drops Saturday and Sunday this weekend. Usually we're a Monday through Friday thing with a football show or a basketball show or a recruiting show sprinkled in, but kind of going full throttle right now as the Tar Heels build toward the season opener, August 29th at Minnesota. We're just 18 days away at the time of this recording. I'm recording it Sunday evening. We're running this drop on Monday morning, and it's about the Tar Heels offensive line starting to take shape. We're getting a handle on who the ones are, who's in competition at the two, and really who has a chance at getting in to that rotation when they head off to Minneapolis. They said at the outset of fall camp they wanted 9, thought there was a chance at 9. I think right now they're looking at 7 or 8. And given the multiplicity of Ja'Kai Leftwich, I think that 7 would seem kind of like 8. So I'll get into that. And there's really a compelling battle. Everyone's talking about the quarterback battle at North Carolina, but I think almost as intriguing, and nothing is ever as intriguing as quarterbacks, almost as intriguing is the left guard battle along the offensive line. But before I do that, very quick reminder, for just $8.33 a month, you guys can be Carolina Tar Heel experts too, football, basketball, recruiting, and hang out on our amazing message board loaded with passionate, intelligent Tar Heel fans like you, people that know how to spell the players' names right, people that know what year the players are, people that kind of have an idea of what's going on. You can hang out with them on our message boards. Okay, so the topic at hand, the second most compelling battle for a starting position in fall camp is at left guard. And what's interesting is these aren't the guys that people thought maybe were going to compete for this job. Malik McGowan made a move in spring practice, ended up starting in the spring game with the ones, with the blue team, which is the ones in football. And he's been in that spot pretty much throughout fall camp, but giving him a push isn't Jonathan Dorna, who's experienced, isn't Zach Rice, who came in ballyhooed as a 5-star. It's true freshman Aiden Banfield. Now, we've mentioned Aiden Banfield here recently, saying he was coming. I did a pod the other day where I discussed, hey, keep an eye on this kid. He continues to make a push. He had a really good spring. The staff talked him up. Some of the teammates talked him up in the spring, but I've done this long enough. I know that a lot of stuff we hear in the spring is, hey, these guys are kind of popping a little bit, but they're a couple of years away from really being a factor. Then we started hearing about him early in fall camp, same kind of thing. But we still are now. And in talking to Mack Brown after practice on Sunday, I asked him about that spot, about that battle right there, and he made it very clear that Aiden Banfield is 100% in the heat of that battle for that starting spot. He has a chance to start at Minnesota. And I kind of tailored the question after something that Chip Lindsey, the offensive coordinator, said to us on Saturday when he said, look, sometimes you get these young guys in here, they're doing really well, they look great against the second team, but you get them in a full throttle, live, full contact scrimmage, and they're going up against ones, and then they don't look as good. It's clear that they're a year or so away. Most kids are like that in football, especially along the offensive line. So I asked Mack, did Aiden pass the test? And he said, absolutely. So you're looking at Malik McGowan, you're looking at Aiden Banfield at that left guard spot. And Mack even said, hey, we have to, I'm paraphrasing here, we have to sort of prepare ourselves for the possibility that a true freshman is going to start on the offensive line at Minnesota in that environment on national TV in the opener. That's a pretty hefty load. But it's not like Malik McGowan has a ton of experience himself. He's been on some punt teams, gotten a few snaps on offense, but nothing significant. So that kind of goes along with the rest of the offensive line outside of Willie Lampkin. A lot of green guys there, no pun intended, with Trevion Green. And by the way, that starting offensive line right now, they did play Minnesota very quickly. Howard Sampson at left tackle. I think McGowan would get the start at left guard. Austin Blaske, the Georgia transfer, at center. Willie Lampkin, all AC, first team preseason all ACC. He was, I think, second team last year. And then at right tackle, Trevion Green, who was recruited to Carolina by Carolina. In fact, he would be one of two starters because McGowan was recruited by Carolina and obviously Banfield was. Sampson started out at North Texas. That is the nature of college football these days. But that's a position to watch, but also maybe sneaking in there and getting some reps, and who knows how things will play out. But Mac noted that Ja'Kai Leftwich, who played about 400-something snaps last season at Georgia Tech, he's a tackle. He's the backup tackle on both spots right now, and he's going to play some. But Mac said they're working him in there at left guard too. He's a big, big dude. He's built. He's the size of a tackle. Max, they said they're working him in there at left guard, and he could be someone to keep an eye on as well. Right now, I think it's probably a McGowan Banfield deal, but Leftwich is someone that if the other two struggle at all, he's an experienced guy. Quite frankly, he's the second most experienced guy. Maybe Jonathan Adorno has a comparable number of snaps, but Adorno, you don't hear Adorno's name. We never hear Zach Rice's name anymore. And oftentimes during fall camp, when you speak to players and when you speak to coaches, you learn a lot by what they don't say. And they haven't really mentioned the two of them. Austin Blasky was asked specifically about Adorno last week, and he didn't say much. So we can deduce based on all that. And of course, what Max said Sunday, this is McGowan versus Banfield, with Leftwich kind of lurking around the corner, possibly getting some of those reps as well. So the 7 right now that would be in the rotation, you would think would be the starters I mentioned, plus Leftwich and Banfield. I do think there are some other guys that might be in position to be in that rotation as well. But we got another week or so before we're going to learn more, before we even get a depth chart, another week and a half before we get a depth chart. And I don't know how much credence you can put in the depth chart, but it will be very, very interesting. And we'll be at Minnesota. We'll watch warm-ups. We'll know exactly what the rotations are once they start playing, which is one of the beautiful things about games, because August tends to be a long month. We tend to spend a lot of time talking about these things that we're still a couple of weeks from getting answers to for the most part. We will get answers about quarterback probably next weekend, and maybe about this spot next weekend as well. So keep an eye on it. That's a fun battle going on. I love offensive line battles because if you ever get a chance to see them in practice, they go at it. And for a guy like Banfield to be in position to contend for that spot as a true freshman is very, very impressive. If you're excited about this offensive line that people don't know much about, but the staff keeps telling us they're going to be good, better than last year. If you're excited about that, go ahead and click like on this video. If you're just excited that college football is here soon, click like on the video. If you like all the videos that we do, click like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell so you get updates every time we upload a video, which is often. And we will see you tomorrow because we're going to have more. And by the way, we'll have at least one football show coming up this week. And we may do football shows every 4 or 5 days leading up to the start of this season. That's if I can get Jacob Turner to unveil all of his amazing knowledge about the Tar Heels in multiple pods, which will be fun. Anyway, I'm AJ, man. I appreciate y'all stopping by.